guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Madison Hill, and yes, it's time for another Pop Off with Madison. For today's Pop Off, I'm gonna be talking about Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck because, as I'm sure you all have seen, people cannot stop talking about them and we must discuss. So for those of you who did not watch the Grammys, Ben Affleck attended alongside his wife Jennifer Lopez, and let me tell you guys, Ben Affleck is the one person who has basically gone viral over the Grammys. And the reason why he's going viral is because he looked like he wanted to be absolutely anywhere else. I'm telling you, you guys, this man looked miserable. The camera panned to him several times. He just did not look like he wanted to be there. People were sharing those videos of him in the audience. People were sharing photos where he looked like he didn't want to be there. And I think the one thing that people are really holding on to is the fact that it appeared as though Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck were fighting on camera. I'm going to show you the clip. We're going to break it down because now, of course, a lip reader has weighed in and is spilling the tea on what potentially Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck were fighting about at the Grammys. Also, Jennifer Lopez is doing her best to try to destroy the narrative that anything was happening between them. And you guys, we also have this new report from Entertainment Tonight that's giving us a little more insight into why Ben looked so miserable while he was at the Grammys. Because, you know, Jennifer Lopez cannot have people out here thinking that there is trouble in paradise. I cannot wait to get into this with you guys. You know, we've been covering Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck since they got back together, TBT to when I thought they would not get married, but they did. Anyway, you guys, before we get into all of this new J-Lo and Ben tea, you know, I first have to check in and see how the House of Hill is doing. So let me know how you are, what you've been up to, all of that good stuff down below. Me personally, I had a very relaxing weekend, just spent some time with my family. I'm also just like nursing a skin issue. I don't know if you can see. If I get close, you can see. That was scary. But I'm like breaking out on my chin. My skin has been so dry. I've had this dry patch under my eye that just will not heal. I am someone who has self-diagnosed myself with stress-induced eczema because I tend to get like these patches under my ears, around my eyes. But now my skin is like not only dry on my face, but it's dry in my hairline. I'm struggling over here, and it's honestly giving me so much stress. I think partially it's because I'm dehydrated. I need to drink more water, but you just know that when anything is off with like your skin or your hair or your body, I know it seems superficial, but it can definitely throw off your mood. So now that I've vented and I've gotten that off my chest, thank you for letting me vent to you guys. I feel like I always am venting to you guys about my stressors, and I'm so appreciative that you let me do that. But now I'm gonna go ahead and stop myself because I know you straight to the T people are like, Madison, you tease that Jen and Ben may or may not have just fought on camera at the Grammys. And you're right. So go ahead and drop this time code down there in the comments to help out your fellow straight to the T people. And now let's get to unwrapping these Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck facts. All right, so as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck did attend the Grammys. Jennifer Lopez was there because she was presenting an award. And as far as any tea-filled highlights that you may have missed from the Grammys if you didn't watch, one, you need to know that people were super upset that Harry Styles beat Beyonce for Album of the Year. People are still sharing how upset they are over on social media, in addition to Beyonce fans being upset with Ticketmaster because Ticketmaster is the worst. Welcome to the Swiftie struggle. In addition to that, another tea-filled moment that people were talking about was the fact that Taylor Swift was so supportive of Harry Styles. She was seen dancing to his performance. She also was seen standing up for his acceptance speech for Album of the Year, which I was honestly happy to see because I've seen clips of people who were in the audience, and while Harry was trying to deliver his acceptance speech, people were yelling that Beyonce should have won and just saying some kind of mean things. I get it, people were upset, but I don't know, it still took away from Harry's moment, which did make me cringe a little bit. So of course people were talking about the fact that Taylor Swift was supporting her ex Harry Styles. Another tea-filled thing you may or may not have missed, Offset and Quavo are making headlines because it's now been revealed that they had a physical altercation backstage of the Grammys. Apparently Offset was upset that Quavo performed the Takeoff Memorial by himself, and while Offset had previously denied that this took place, a video did surface today where you can hear Cardi B breaking up some sort of altercation. Again, people are believing that this was between Quavo and Offset. I'll go ahead and play a little clip for you guys so you can hear.
Both of y'all are wrong. Both of y'all. This is not right. Now, this is your business.
Entertainment Tonight were the ones who had that clip because they were waiting backstage to interview Cardi and Quavo, and everyone kind of kept it cool and cute when they were asked those interview questions when they were trying to leave. But yeah, they were definitely caught on camera before, clearly having some sort of disagreement. In addition to that, you guys, there were just so many amazing performances. Lizzo killed it, Bad Bunny killed it. The celebration of hip hop, that performance was my absolute favorite. I could watch it over and over and over again. I was living for it. And yeah, you guys, aside from those tea-filled moments, really I feel feel like the person who stole the show at the Grammys, aside from Beyonce, because she did break the record for being the most Grammy awarded artist, but aside from Beyonce, I would say Ben Affleck is the most talked about person from the Grammys, because you guys, he just looked absolutely miserable. I mean, I'm telling you, every time the camera panned over to him in the audience, whether he was watching a performance or just sitting there, the man looked like he wanted to be anywhere else. And the memes and the tweets were almost instant. They were constant throughout the evening. And some of the photos that were taken from that night didn't help Ben Affleck's case either. Some he was smiling and some he looked enthused, but there were some photos that surfaced where, again, he was just giving no life behind the eyes. However, I will say I think the worst moment for Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez, because Jennifer Lopez was trying to act like she was having a good time, but Ben Affleck was just not giving her anything back. And I feel like everything kind of came to a head when Trevor Noah, who was the host for that evening, sat by Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck to do a little bit. And while Trevor Noah is doing his thing, Jennifer Lopez realizes that she's on camera, her and Ben are on camera, and you can see her like nudge him, trying to tell him to, you know, act like he wants to be there. And Ben Affleck tries his best. He still doesn't really give her much to work with, but that moment is what really people are holding on to, because that moment definitely appeared as though they were fighting, something was up. And now, like I said, the Daily Mail has hired a lip reader, and this lip reader is making headlines for breaking down what Jennifer Lopez seemingly said to Ben Affleck in that awkward Grammys moment. And the lip reader says that J-Lo said, "Stop, look more friendly, look motivated." And I will say, whenever you put those subtitles under J-Lo and Ben, it does look like that's what she's saying. I think the "stay motivated" is a weird comment, but I'll give it to the lip reader. It does appear as though that's what Jennifer Lopez is saying. Now, because this moment has really taken a hold of the internet, like I also previously mentioned, Jennifer Lopez is out here doing her best to try to diffuse the situation. She recently posted photos of her and Ben Affleck from the Grammys on Instagram, and she captioned the Instagram post saying, "Always the best time with my love, my husband." And despite J-Lo trying to convince people that everything's fine and just act like everything's fine, people in the comments were not feeling it. They kept commenting about how something feels off between the two, and they just really weren't buying that they had the best time together. And in addition to that, you guys, there have been several reports put out since then that are trying to, you know, explain away Ben Affleck's very obvious misery that he was feeling. We had one report from In Touch Weekly where a source shared that Ben was just uncomfortable with all of the eyes on him. Then we have an even more recent report from Entertainment Tonight where a source claimed that Ben Affleck was just simply tired. This source specifically said, quote, "Jen and Ben had a fun date night out at the Grammys, but they have both been very busy working on several projects, and Ben was feeling tired. He wanted to go and support Jen, but he wasn't his usual self." This Entertainment Tonight insider went on to say that Jen had a, quote, "great time and wanted Ben to be, quote, excited to be there, but she understands where he's coming from." This ET source then ended their insider info saying, quote, "Jen knows Ben is a great husband, and they still made sure to have a good night together." The source continued saying J-Lo, quote, "knows how supportive Ben is towards her and her work, but also gets that Ben is more of a homebody and it isn't his thing to be out at events all the time. She is appreciative of his support, whether it's while they're out and about or just hanging out at home." I don't know about you all, but I feel like this source was doing the most with that last quote. Like, they were really trying to put it out there that everything is Gucci with Jen and Ben. And since I'm already kind of starting to pop off, let's just go ahead and make this pop off official and get to that shambong. I mean, first of all, I feel like we have to be honest here and note that Ben Affleck is not one of those celebrities who looks like he's happy 1000% of the time. If anything, Ben Affleck does always kind of have that look of misery or no life behind the eyes on his face. I think some people on the internet are calling it resting Ben face at this point. I mean, even a member of the House of Hill messaged me on Instagram whenever I posted a photo of Jen and Ben from the Grammys, and they were like, "But doesn't Ben always kind of look like that?" And you're right, Ben Affleck always kind of looks like he's a little uncomfortable or annoyed. However, I think if it was just one photo where Ben Affleck looked annoyed or he looked like he didn't want to be there, it would be a meme and it would be done. But unfortunately, the thing that is giving so much life to this Ben Affleck drama is the fact that every time the camera panned on him during a performance, he just looked like he wanted to be anywhere else. And I think people would have maybe been able to let that go, but the thing that really made people stop and question what's happening between J-Lo and Ben that he might be looking like like this is that part where they did seemingly fight on camera. And I hate even using the term fight because I don't really feel like they were fighting on camera or even arguing. I just feel like Jennifer Lopez was a little testy with Ben Affleck, a little annoyed with Ben Affleck, and unfortunately that moment of annoyance was caught on camera. And even more unfortunately, you guys, I think that moment is what's causing people to question, is something happening between Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck? Is the honeymoon phase over? Are they maybe not as happy as we thought? Because this isn't the first time as of late that we've seen Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez kind of appear as though something is off. There were also some clips of them from the Shotgun Wedding premiere, that's Jennifer Lopez's new movie, where they did look a little annoyed with one another. So I think between that and the Grammys, and then Jennifer Lopez doing the most to try to act like everything's fine over on her Instagram and she just had a great night with her husband, I think people are kind of definitely starting to side-eye Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck. And you know, I understand that that Entertainment Tonight report was trying to put it out there that everything's fine, Ben was just tired, he's working hard. But I can't help but think whenever someone says that they look tired, and this is because my mind works in movie quotes. Have you guys seen the movie Stepmom with Julia Roberts and Susan Sarandon? If you haven't, it's okay. If you have, you know. There's a part where Susan Sarandon makes a quote that when someone says you look tired, that's just a nice way of telling the person they look like. So the fact that this ET source is chalking Ben Affleck's appearance up to him just being tired, it does make me LOL a little bit because I'm like, is this someone from Jen and Ben's inner circle just being like, it's okay that Ben Affleck looked like him and J-Lo are fine? I obviously know that's not what they meant, and they are using the term tired to definitely explain away his behavior, but that's immediately where my mind went. Either way, I'm just trying to say I understand what this ET source was saying. Jen and Ben would rather have people think that Ben Affleck is just tired from being busy, as opposed to Ben Affleck looks miserable because something is going on with him and Jennifer Lopez in their marriage. But I still want to just say that last quote that that ET source put out there just really felt like it was doing the most. It felt like it was just really trying to explain away any tension between Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck. They just said one too many positive things that does make me pause a little bit. It's kind of like when you're talking to a friend and you say, how are you? And your friend says, I'm fine, like 5 times, and you're kind of just like, you said I'm fine one too many times. What's really going on? That's kind of how I feel like on that last Entertainment Tonight source quote. You said that things are so great between Jen and Ben one too many times. Is there something more going on? And listen, we all know in relationships you have periods of up and down. You have periods where you're obsessed with one another, and you have periods where you might be a little annoyed with one another. And the last time Jen and Ben really made headlines is when they were talking about blending their families and how it's been an emotional experience. So maybe they just have a lot of things going on where right now in their relationship, things are not as amazing as they have been previously, but there's obviously a possibility this is just a little blip and it's gonna go back to normal here soon. Now, if this rough patch continues and we continue to see Ben Affleck looking annoyed in public, looking miserable, and we see more awkward moments between him and Jennifer Lopez, then that might be the point where we say, hey, is this more than a rough patch? Are these two leading down a road that maybe, you know, things aren't working out as well as they thought? But until we see more tense moments between these two, I feel like we can't really say there's trouble in paradise. I feel like we have to chalk the Grammys up to just, you know, them having an off night. I mean, because Ben Affleck, if we're being honest with ourselves, is definitely more of a Dunkin' Donuts and a cigarette kind of guy, as opposed to somebody who wants to get all glammed up and go be around all of these musicians. Like, that really was not Ben Affleck's scene. Of course, I don't know him personally, but I don't picture that being Ben Affleck's scene. So we do have to give him a little credit there, whereas Jennifer Lopez, she was in her freaking element. But at the same time, I do think that Jennifer Lopez has to remember who she married, and part of the reason why she's probably even attracted to Ben Affleck in the first place is because he is the chill, stay-at-home guy. So she can't always get annoyed with him when he's not given the most at these award shows, you know what I mean? But again, I don't want to say there's anything wrong because I don't necessarily believe that yet, but you know, if anything changes and more tea is spilled, I'll be sitting right here to fill you in on it. All right, you guys, that's the latest I have for you on Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck. Go ahead and let me know what you think about Ben Affleck's behavior at the Grammys down below. While you guys are at it, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button and don't forget that notification bell. For more content, make sure you guys follow me over on Instagram and TikTok, and of course, don't forget to keep coming back here to check out my YouTube shorts. If you guys want to show me a little extra love or you just want to make sure I see your comment, don't forget you can also hit that super thanks button down below. You guys can also check out all of my merch over at my merch store at houseofhill.com. And on that note, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.